Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today's the oversized crochet scarf, and this scarf is done up on an angle. It's actually oversized, so it's a total of 92 inches long, and it does have an angle on it, but it's easy to maintain the angle because we only have 2 rows that we need to do back and forth, and the scarf is only about 11 inches wide, just like you see. So I just actually filmed this afternoon with a live video. What a disaster. So one thing that I did is that I realized afterward is that I followed the foundation instruction, and because I considered it number 1, my eyes automatically went to number 2. That's my story, folks, and we're gonna stick by that. If you would like to change the size of this particular scarf, you just have to chain in an even number, so like 10, 12, 14, that's an even number, so you can go like that. So this is a total of chaining of 60. This is just a small example of it. Once you do that, what is the hookup on this where you will probably screw up is usually when we do a chain, we usually go second chain from the hook at the absolute minimum. This one wants you to play with the same one that's on the hook, and you're going to put in a double crochet and a chain into, or sorry, a single crochet into that first one, and then it's double, single, all the way to the end, and then the last 2 are 2 single crochets together. So you're going to notice that these chains are a lot longer than normal. That is a long chain. I know, it's like rocket science, right? So what that means is that you want you to pull up on the hook so that it can get to the same height as that double crochet so that it can keep its balance, and that's something that you'll have to keep an eye on. So we're gonna do the foundation row to get ourselves started, and then we'll move to row number 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 as long as you want to go. So the scarf measures about 92 inches long, where you can fasten off and then have a great old time. So let's begin. We're using a 5.5 millimeter size eye crochet hook today. I'm going to be using Red Heart Hopscotch because I have some stuff left over from an old tutorial and I want to use it up, and let's have some fun today. Let's begin. So let's begin. You can either chain 60 because that's as per the instructions, or what you can do is that you can just do an even number. So what I would like for you to do is do that. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can go all the way to 60 or a different number. Remember, it is up on an angle, so that will also change the width of this slightly. So decide what you want to do at this point. Just make sure it's an even number chain when we get started. So I now have 20 in here. You could have 60, you could have any number. The last chain, I want you to just pull up and give it a bit of slack like this. And normally when we turn it over, we go from the second chain of the hook, we go right here. But in this case we want to use that very first one where this is coming out of, so that's why we're pulling up a little bit of slack. So I want you to double crochet into that first one that's from the hook. So double crochet and then single crochet into the same one. So if you were thinking about a peak and a valley, this here is the peak, and we're going to go and crochet down. So if you look at the example, let me just show you the diagram just to verify. So when you are starting right here, see it's a double and a single. I want you to look at it like this. So we're at the top of the peak and we're going down. So the bottom here, the final 2 are together because we want to have the angle coming up like this. So the remaining of this, we just did a double into the first one and then a single, and now each one of these working all the way to the end except for the final 2 is going to be the same. So the next one will be a double crochet, and then the next one is a single. Noticing that I'm working on the back hump of the chain. It makes it a nicer finish. So then the next one has to be a double and then a single. And I know what you're thinking. You probably are going to screw that up and forget to do that. I have to tell you that once you get started with this, when you go and do another project and it says to do all these double crochets, you're gonna be like doing double single by accident. You watch. So I'm just maintaining my stitches, and in my head I am saying so single and then double. It almost sounds like a skipping song. So I'm just working my way all the way to the other side. So you notice I'm not counting at all. I'm just doing my singles, doubles. I'm just keeping an eye on when I see those final 2 stitches left. So here's a double, and I know that there should be, and I'm getting close to the end, there should be 2 left over, which there is. So that was a double. So the very final 2 is going to be a single crochet 2 together. So going into the next one, instead of single crocheting, just grab the yarn and pull through and hold it, and then go to the very next one into the chain and pull through, and then pull through all 3, and that's a 2 together. So this is the bottom of the valley when you look at it from like that. So let's do row number 1. Row number 1 and 2 are the repeat for the duration of this project. When you have row number 1, you have to chain and just make sure that you are going to just build it up a little bit higher. Now you're going to skip the one that it's coming out of and you're going to double crochet in the next double crochet that there is. So when it's a double crochet, you're double crocheting, and when it's single, it's a single. You will notice, see how this is really kind of more bulkier? That's a double crochet. So you will be able to physically see it, so that you're starting in the first double crochet, and to see how there's not much here, that's a single. So that's going to be a single. And you're doing the same thing, so it's a double and then single and double and single, and you're going to do that all the way across your project. So I'll see you at the other side where I'll show you how to finish off this row. So as you come up all the way to the end, you got one stitch left. The very final stitch will then have a double crochet. Remember that the one before it was a single, and then you're going to put in a single crochet to finish that. So the last stitch has a double crochet and a single crochet, and that keeps the peak going. You're going to turn your work, and then we'll begin row number 2 in just a moment. So when you're on row number 2, we're then on the side. So you're going to notice that this side is always adding stitches, this side is always subtracting stitches. You'll notice that for sure. You're going to chain up and just provide a little bit of extra slack, and in the very first stitch where that's coming out of, you want to put in a double crochet, but you're not done. You also want to put in a single crochet, so then it'll be there when you get there back. The next one, see how it's bulky looking? That one's an automatic double crochet, so that means the next one has to be a single crochet, and you're doing the double and single, and you're doing that all the way to the end. I'll see you at the other side where I'll show you how to finish off this row once again. So watch when you get all the way to the other side. The one before the very final will be a double crochet, and you know that you're close to the end, so you know that the final two then have to come single crochet 2 together, and then that'll finish that row. So that was the end of row number 2. So you're going to turn your work so you can see that it's really building up. So one side is an angle, and this is the valley, this is the peak. Let's just review row 1 and 2 one more time just to make sure you got it, and then that's it for today. So back to row number 1, you were going to chain, just provide an extra little bit of slack, and you're going to skip the one that you're coming out of and immediately double crochet into the next double crochet that's there. And so then it will be a double and single and double and single all the way back to the top of this. So just do that. I'll see you at the end of this row. So we're now coming to the other side where you can see it's a peak. So then the next one is a single, and you have your very last one. So your very last one on the end of row number 1 is going to be a double crochet first, and then a single crochet into the same one. We'll finish that. You'll turn your work, and let's begin row number 2 once again. In row number 2, you just chain up, and in the same one that it's coming out of, because it's the side that is the top of the valley, you are going to start with the double crochet into the same stitch, and then a single. And the next one you can see that that's a double, so it's going to be your double and your singles in the next, and double and single. Go all the way to the other side where I'll meet you there in just a moment. So as you're coming up to the end of row number 2, I'm coming close to the end, and the last one here is a double crochet, and then you should start thinking that that's a double crochet, and I'm almost near the end, so the very final 2 that you see is going to be single crochet 2 together. So eventually the party will run out, and you'll have the length that you would like to do. It's about 92 inches long, and that's in this direction here. So what I want to do now is just show you how to fasten off. To fasten off, just cut your yarn, and you will have changed the yarn. You'll be 4 yarn balls if you're using that Red Heart Unforgettable. So you'll take your tails, and recommending, because this is a wearable, put it through a tapestry needle. It only takes a moment, and put it through there. Now you're just going to drag it up underneath the stitch work and go once, and when you drag it through, don't change the shape of it. Make sure it's taut but it's not buckling, and go through a second time, 2, and finally 3rd time is a charm. And you should be able to safely then cut that into the project without it popping out, and this tail should never fall out on you. So it's a kind of a neat concept, and this is the oversized crochet scarf, another free pattern by yarnspirations.com, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye now.